Hello, welcome back. I'm Mrs. Porter, and today we're going to be working on Saxon Phonics 2, lesson 123. We're going to be talking about the final stable syllable, T-U-R-E. Yeah, tur. All right, well, we will get to that in a minute. Let's start at the beginning. So you're going to get in your zippered pouch, and you're going to get out this little packet of papers. And at the top, you're going to see the 123. If you need to pause me, that's fine. Pause me, get your packet of papers, and get a pencil, and then press play. All right, good job. Go ahead and inside your packet, find this sheet. It has some words to alphabetize. Again, today we are going to alphabetize some words. You're going to follow the same procedure that you've been following for the last few weeks and all of last school year. Are you ready? Let me look at the list and see how this goes. So go down the list, find the very first letter. Which letter is closest to A? Once you've found that, you're going to put the number 1. Then you're going to continue. Find the letter that's the second closest to A. All right, how long do you think you need? Maybe you could have your mom or dad or your at-home teacher set a timer and see how long it takes and write the number of seconds up at the top. That would really help me so that I know how well you're doing with that skill. All right, let me go through here, make sure that we are covering everything. It is time for our review. Go to the front of your packet, go ahead and place your name on the top, and then put your finger next to number 1. All right, the first word we're going to practice is timer. Timer. How do we spell that? Try it on your worksheet. All right, for timer, the first sound you hear is the T sound. So write that letter. Then you hear I. You're going to want to write a long I pattern. For me, I know this is I, and then there's a consonant and then an E. So T, I, I'm going to write the letter M. And then is going to have that R at the end. If you did not write timer in this manner, mark one line through it and just write correctly on top. Number 2, saved. Good. You heard that long A pattern? S-A-V-E-D. Saved. Great job. Number 3, carving. Ooh, is that a C or is that a K? If you hear the A-R, the car, you know that it is a C by following our CK rules. Good. C-A-R-V and then I-N-G. Yeah, suffix. Good. We have a couple of sight words that we're going to go over. The first one is often. Now, I hope you remember whenever you have a sight word, you're not going to be able to sound it out. So you're not going to sound out often. You're going to have to think back to a time that you've seen it in text or you've written it yourself. So go ahead and try often. I'm going to find an eraser and I'll be right back. All right. Often. I hope you wrote O-F-T-E-N. If not, that's okay. Just go ahead and give one line and then write the correct spelling of often. Number 5, beautiful. It's a sight word. You're going to have to think back to a time that you saw it. Good. B-E-A-U-T-I-F-U-L. Number 6, give. Give. It's spelled like give. And that is why it is a sight word. It does not follow our pattern rules. Give. Good job. We're going to move on to the new increment, which is our final stable syllable. So I need you to echo these words and listen to the sound in the final position. The final position is at the end of the word. Adventure, sculpture, pasture. What sound do you hear in the final position? Adventure, sculpture, pasture. Good. Sure. Very good. Let me write these down and see if we can figure out what letters are making that sound. Don't be screaming it out. Just give me 1 second. We have adventure. Sculpture. And pasture. Do you see the letters that are making that sound? Good. T-U-R-E. Now, to decide if this is a final stable syllable or a suffix, we can cover up the back and see, is this word in the beginning, is that a base word? So if I have adven, is that a word that you've ever heard of? No. What about sculpt? Maybe. What about path? This is not, this T-U-R-E is not a suffix. Do you remember how we code final stable syllables? You might not. We haven't talked much about it this school year so far, and it was like a good 6 months since our last school year, right? At least that we did this type of phonics. We put a bracket around it, and that tells our eye, whenever we're looking at the beginning part of our word, we don't have to worry about the T-U-R-E because we already know the sound for it. We just need to figure out the sound for that front part of the word or that other syllable. Okay, let me show you. There's going to be a picture card that goes with this. Let me show you that card. You guys are not going to believe this. This is our last picture card for this Saxon Phonics 2, and then we'll be moving on to Saxon Phonics 3. Good. You see the little boy here? And he's in a frame. That's picture, chur. Picture, chur. All right. Go down on your worksheet to the new sounds and new words. So right here by number 7. We're going to continue on there. Say the final stable syllable, T-U-R-E. Chur. Now I want you to write down that response on number 7. So if I said chur, chur, on number 7, you would say final stable syllable, T-U-R-E. And you would write T-U-R-E. Very good. Number 8 is future. Good. So we have F-U, few, and then we have chur, T-U-R-E. Number 9, mixture. Mix, that's easy, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then chur, T-U-R-E. Very good. Make sure you have that correct. M-I-X-T-U-R-E. And then number 10 is venture. So we have V-E-N, ven, and then T-U-R-E. Very good. You guys did really good. All right, on our worksheet, so let me find it in your packet. So this is the first page in your packet. The second page, you should have already finished. That was your ABC order. And then the last page is your worksheet, and then the back side is your homework side, the part you do on your own. So find the one that says worksheet 1, 2, 3. It has your name on top. You can put your name up there. You don't have to. It's all in a packet, so whatever you want. We're going to look at some of these words, number 1 through 6, and we're going to talk about how we could code them. Now, I do want to say, and I hope you remember, that the reason we code is not necessarily so that we have like all these little things correct or incorrect on the words. It's so that our eyes and our bodies and our brains get used to looking at words and seeing patterns and recalling the sounds for those patterns. So right now we are just going to be breaking them down together. Now you could code a word if that was the easiest way for you to break it down if you came to an unknown word in the text. But most of the time your eye is just going to be looking for these patterns, and you're going to think, oh yeah, that's a long, that's short, what have you. So the first word we have is fracture. How could we code this word? What patterns do we see? So the first thing we ask ourselves, are there any obvious codings? Those are our final stable syllables and our suffixes. And we do have a final stable syllable, T-U-R-E. So that's tur, chur. And then we just have to figure out this part. So if I cover up chur, what do I have here? Yeah, let's sound it out. Fr, a, k, chur. Very good. Then we look at number 2. Number 2 is nature. Do we have any obvious codings? We do. Then we look for our vowels. This vowel is an open vowel. There's no letters after it that are not part of that final stable syllable. So it gets a macron or a long sound. So that's n, a, and then chur. Very good. Some of you probably, your mind has gotten so smart with this that you just did it automatically and didn't even realize. All right, the next one is W-E-I-G-H-T. This is the word wait. This is brand new. I don't know if you remember this or not. Are there any obvious codings? No. No suffixes, no final stable syllables. There is a trigraph that we just learned, and it's E-I-G-H, and it makes the A sound. So I'm going to put a little A up here. That's not really a coding that, you know, Saxon Phonics tells us to do, but I just need to know that I have to just say w, a, t. That's how I know what that word is. Very good. This is like if you got on a scale, the number that came up would be your weight, or how much, and a number of whatever, how many pounds that you were, a way to measure how heavy you are. All right, number 4, C-E-I-L-I-G. It's the word ceiling. Ooh, this is a hard one. Is this, or is it a suffix? So it's not the state of ceiling. No. So this is just that NG. Good. This is your Sedeliacy. Thank you. So it makes the S sound, ceiling. Number 5. Can you still see me? Barely. All right. Fastis. Good. That's easy, isn't it? Good job. Number 6, I'll go up here so you can see it. We have safely. Good. Ly is a suffix. And then macron over the A. Get your sneaky E and mark it out. Very good. Then we're going to go down to the bottom. We're going to read our passage, and then we're going to answer the questions. So please follow along. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun. It is the biggest planet of all. Jupiter is 318 times bigger than Earth, but the Sun is 1,000 times bigger than Jupiter. Jupiter orbits the Sun in a little less than 12 hours. It says, what is the biggest planet? I feel like we just read a lot of numbers. Why don't we draw a picture so we can figure this out? Because after reading that, I really couldn't tell you what the largest planet is, unless I already knew, which some of you might, so don't be yelling it out. Just hold on. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. We are going to go ahead and draw this out. So we have the planets. Here's the sun. You don't have to draw this. I am just doing it because I'm extra like that. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Jupiter. It says that in the passage. So if you didn't already know this, Jupiter is the 5th planet from the sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jupiter. Okay? It is the biggest planet of all. Oh my gosh. I'm going to make him big. Our question number 7. What is the biggest planet? I think you can find it down there, right? It just said Jupiter is the biggest planet of them all. Find Jupiter and color it in. Number 8. Which is bigger, the sun or Jupiter? We have to go back to the passage to figure that out, unless you just randomly already know. And that means not what you think, but you have already researched and found out from some scientists that posed questions and figured it out. So it's easiest to go back to the passage. All right, Jupiter is 318 times bigger than Earth. Oh my gosh. So here's Earth. We're the 3rd little rock from the sun. We're much smaller. This is this much bigger, 318 times as big. So 318 Earths fit inside Jupiter. So we are little. Earth is little. Jupiter, massively big in comparison to us. So which one is bigger? The sun or Jupiter? All right, well, we don't need to know that. The sun is 1,000 times bigger than Jupiter. Holy moly. 1,000 looks like this. Hopefully you remember that decade assignment that most of you just did. 1,000 times bigger than Jupiter. So 1,000 Jupiters fit into the sun. So which one's bigger, Jupiter or the sun? Color it in. How long does it take Jupiter to orbit the sun? Again, go back to the passage. And in the last sentence, it says Jupiter orbits the sun in a little less than 12 hours. So here on the line, you're writing a sentence. You could write that whole sentence if you want. Or you could write it a different way. It takes Jupiter a little less than 12 hours, period. So I guess the question is, are you writing a little less than 12 hours? No, you are writing a sentence. Remember on the video that I put out about the sentences, or if you were in class? We are all old enough now, and we should be working with enough rigor and grit that we can write one sentence to answer a question. We should have mastered that, and if not, we need to practice, because that is where we need to be. So you're writing that in a sentence. So a capital at the beginning, spaces in between your words, and a period. It does not need to be a long sentence, but it does need to be a sentence. All right, when you're finished with that, turn it over to the back side. This is going to be your homework. I'm not going to go over it with you, but I do want you to read these words to your at-home teacher. Go through, figure out the different areas or the different things that you might see so that you can figure this out. Read this on your own. Your at-home teacher should not be helping you. You should have this, and if not, I need to see that you don't have it, and that's okay. Read this, answer the questions, and then you're going to put it back into your zippered pouch and bring it back to school. All right, well, sayonara. See you tomorrow.